Hello there, this is Chadderbox, and I really like game jams, and when I saw that Brackeys Game Jam was on, I had to join. But this game jam was a bit of a disaster for me. You see, aside from being a game developer, I also have other things to do, and even though I'm on my summer holiday at the moment, I'm still quite busy, and so this jam ended up cutting it quite close. Things were off to a good start when I was an hour early to check the theme, which really shows how organised and coordinated I am. I then came back when the theme was announced, being Let There Be Chaos. I think this is one of the best themes I've had in all of the jams I've participated in, and it really helped me think of loads of ideas. I had a pretty hard time actually trying to stick to one though, and I already knew I was going to be rather pressed for time, so I had to think of a simple one that I could actually complete. A nice way I found to think up decent ideas is to continually add limitations, which is a big reason I like participating in game jams anyway. I generally find 2D games much faster to make than 3D ones, so my first limitation would be that. After putting a bit of thought into this, I came up with a pretty solid idea, and so I didn't need to think up any more restrictions. My idea was a bullet hell, but you couldn't shoot back. This means that there's going to be gradually more and more bullets, and you can't do anything about them, thus having it become more and more chaotic. Of course, this also means I don't need to waste time programming shooting, so that's good. But we wouldn't want there to be too many bullets, so you can kill the things that spawn the bullets by getting them to shoot each other. And to make it more chaotic, why not add screen wrapping? Completely because of the theme, and not because I recently found out how it works online and thought it was really cool. I quickly made some weird abstract pixel art using a colour palette I found on LowSpec, using red to indicate bad, being the enemies, and blue to indicate good, being the player. After that, I imported the art into Unity, set up some basic movement, and then didn't come back to the project for 5 days because it turned out I was much busier than I thought. When I reopened the project, I spent a bit trying to remember where I got up to, and then realised I had a text document saved inside the project, saying what I wanted the game to be, which really helped me get back on track. I added a basic bullet entity that just moves in a set direction, and then I made a spawner that spawns the bullets. So that's pretty cool, but we also need a way to spawn in the spawners. So I made a spawner that spawns the spawner, and phew, that was a lot of spawners in one sentence. Now it was time to work on the def logic for everything, and for this I used a useful feature called an interface, which I applied to every object, and it contained a simple die method that I could call for anything that collided. Now it's time for a bit of polish. I added some sound effects that I made, and I also made some super quick particle systems. At this point, I didn't have too much time left, but it still felt like something was missing, and I realised that the game didn't actually have any music. So instead of doing the reasonable thing and finding some copyright-free music online, I decided to boot up FL Studio and make some of the cringiest music I think I've ever made in my life. And because I'm an absolute genius, to avoid having to write the code to make the music loop at the right part, I just made the song 10 minutes long, producing a huge audio file that must have increased the size of the build loads. I honestly don't know what I was thinking when I made this, and I'm sure I'm going to regret it when I open up that game in a few years' time. So now I just needed a simple main menu and game over screen, and the actual gameplay was done. And I built the game. Somehow, it worked first time on both web and desktop, so I'm pretty grateful for that. Now the game just needed some promotional art for the itch page, and then I submitted the game with hopefully just enough time to spare to make this video. I'm actually really proud of this game. For the amount of time I had, I made it pretty polished. It certainly shows that I've gotten a bit better at making games since I started, because I reckon if things had been such a mess then, I would have just given up on the jam. So far people haven't completely hated the game. Someone even went so far to say it was polished, and someone said they liked the music. If I had a bit more time, I would have loved to make a 3D shooter or a puzzle game or something, but I'll save that for another jam I suppose. So yeah, that's how I managed to make a really chaotic game in a chaotic week. If you like the video, you can like it. If you want to see more, you can subscribe. And if for some reason you can't walk because you've got so much money in your pockets, then you can always buy my game for Propulsion on Steam. Or just wishlist it, which is free. So yeah, have a good day.